suggested some sort of brand extension.
Ruthless aggression. Allow me to introduce you to the new general manager of Raw, Eric Bischoff.
Who in the green hell are you?
I lie, I cheat, I steal. And at WrestleMania,
I just hear myself say 3 minutes.
well, let me tell you something, brother.
Whoa.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Dits versus Josh. And it is a special edition because your boy Dits is 5-1 up, baby. Retrieve the W. How'd you feel, Josh? Now it feels even more like a pity vote last week. That's what it feels like. They had to give you one.
Listen, I blame myself because I've put down the Twitter universe lately because it's not the platform for me anymore. So I understand. If this vote was happening on TikTok, then who knows? Would be probably tied as well. But, oh, man, I don't know. A small victory last week and then back down to the bottom. So we'll reassess.
I mean, in your defense, Twitter is full of complete arseholes. So apart from the ones who vote for me, then you guys are amazing. But more or less, I'd say 70% arseholes.
Twitter is a
cesspool.
It's an odd place. I love Twitter for the people that I've met. Not
Yes.
Dits, but other people. There's a lot of CUNTs on there that just
say it. Just say the word. It's
I'm
not
not
as
saying the
when you
word.
spell it.
I'm not you'll never hear me say that word on a podcast. I've made that abundantly clear. It's a very vile word when you use it the right way.
It is.
When
I
you
don't know
use
if
it the
I've
right
ever
way.
used it, you know.
I use it every day, but not on the
On a
internet.
podcast.
Not on the internet. It's not happening. And the only other people that I'd say it to, other than other Australians, is you folk from the British world, because I feel
Yeah,
like
we
it's
get
not-
it.
Yeah, it's not as. But Americans, I
It
think they'd start crying.
is a no-go zone.
Bloody Yanks, hey, bloody Yanks.
Bloody see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I lost, but my Raw was clearly the better, superior show
It was.
last week. My Raw was so good last week, and this week, not bad either. There's some gems on Raw this week. I believe, I could be wrong, but it's Canada week. We're in Canada land all week. I was in Toronto. Believe you're in Montreal, because they said
Correct.
they said on Raw. So it's Canada week, guys. We love Canada. I mean, I love a good Toronto crowd. I'm not going to lie. Canadian crowds are pretty fucking lit. They're always lively, always ready to go. So I'm fine with Canada. How do you feel about Canada?
I want to go to Canada. It's on
Me
my
too.
to-do list of
It's like the
places to
top.
go.
It's like the top.
I'd say probably top 3 actually. To be fair, for Canada.
Other than coming seeing me.
I would if you didn't have fucking like a million different things that are going to kill me.
You don't have to worry about that. I'll get to you first. Yeah, well, Canada is great. So shout out to Canada for being Canadian. I don't know. Whatever you call yourselves, Canadians. Yeah, Canadians.
Canadians, yeah.
Sorry, it's kind of early. So I'm still not awake. But yeah, Canadians. That's what they call themselves. Why would they call themselves anything else? I don't even know.
Canadians.
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 All them. Yeah, them. The fucking their teams. Go their sports teams. Woo!
Ice hockey rules.
Yeah, hockey and
Yeah.
I don't know. What else did they do?
Bobsled. Woo!
Yeah, woo! Cool runnings.
Yeah,
That's
no
not Canadian.
sports.
But, I don't know where that was going. Shall we start? Shall we get into Raw?
Yeah, let's get away from that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know where to go with that. I was like, I have no segue here, so let's just go to Raw. Toronto, Canada, the Air Canada Centre, May 13th, 2002 It is now the
Oh, my.
second week of WWE programming. We had more lady with the trimming of the hedges.
Yeah, she's still trimming her bush.
She was like, see you later. And I was like, get the F out. Jim Ross was a bit of a gun on commentary this week. He was saying a lot of lines that I'll get to, but one of them, when the lady come on with the trimming the hedge, he wished after the despicable actions last week that Ric Flair would get the F out.
Oh.
I know, Jim Ross with the just yelling at his boss
Controversial.
like that, yeah. But
That son of a gun.
yeah, well, honestly, Raw started with a handicap match. We got the Hardys versus Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar this week didn't have he had his generic theme, but he had the intro to his theme he has now. It went, and then it was that generic crap. So we're slightly
It's
up.
getting in there.
We're getting there. Now, this match is actually quite good, except for one little spot that Brock fucked up bad. Jeff Hardy, Matt got the hot tag on Jeff. Jeff comes roaring in, clothesline, the standard Jeff Hardy maneuvers. Lots of steam, crowd's lively, and then Jeff Hardy attempts to do a sit-down jawbreaker. And not once, but twice did Brock just go to his knees and not take the jawbreaker. And Jeff tried to do it twice, and Brock just went onto a knee, and then took the jawbreaker for some weird reason. And it looked awkward, and it blew Jeff Hardy's hot tag. But other than that, it was a really good match. The Hardys actually hit the splash leg drop deal from the two turnbuckles. When they jump. Yeah. They hit that. And before they got the three, Heyman pulled the referee's leg out of, so see you bye. Disqualification. Hardys win by DQ. So it's the first loss on Brock Lesnar's record.
Jesus.
So, then...
Because he didn't have Stasiak on his side, that's why.
Must be. Then Heyman gets on the microphone, starts screaming, and says, that's not how we're going to do this. This Sunday at Judgment Day, I challenge you on behalf of Brock Lesnar to a handicap match. They're like, cool, yeah. And then Heyman's like, actually, I've got a better idea. Let's do a tag team match. And they're like, okay. They're standing at the top of the ramp at this point, the Hardys. He said it's going to be the Hardy Boys taking on Brock Lesnar and his partner, Paul Heyman. Heyman and Lesnar versus the Hardys.
Why would he throw himself into that?
Why not?
I guess we'll find out.
Got a nice little tag match happening at Judgment Day.
I mean, he's got a pretty good bodyguard, all things considered.
Yeah, honestly. The Hardys are happy about this, by the way, because they want to destroy Paul Heyman, I guess.
So I always thought there was a handicap match between the Hardys and Brock, and then we saw Backlash, and I was like, maybe I was just dreaming that, and it never happened, but obviously it has.
Well, I mean, it technically
twice
did.
In 1 week.
So yeah, we got a tag match at Judgment Day. Raw's shaping it up. Now, don't get too stressed because backstage is the NWO. They're here.
Oh,
They're
yes.
here. But it's just Big Show and X-Pac. They're waiting for Ric Flair, and Flair walks in because Flair's a dastardly heel now. What a bitch. And he says he fired Scott Hall. Scott Hall has been fired. He says Scott Hall was a failure. And he says also that Kevin Nash is no longer suspended, but he's recovering from bicep surgery. So he's not there. Tonight, there will be a new member of the NWO. Flair says that not even the person that is in the NWO that he selected knows that he's in the NWO. Only Ric Flair knows.
What the
Suspense. So then we go to the ring, and Ric Flair and the Big Show come to the ring, and Flair gives a heel promo. He shits on the Maple Leafs and all that fucking shit. Canada hate him. They hype up, how there's going to be the handicap match with Stone Cold versus the Big Show and Ric Flair at Judgment Day, I believe. And he announces that tonight there's going to be an Undisputed Championship match.
Oh.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan will defend against Ric Flair.
Why?
So then we have an Intercontinental Championship match. Eddie Guerrero defends against Sean Stasiak.
Okay, I repeat, why?
Well, before the match, they had an earlier today segment, And Stasiak was like sitting on a chair in the locker room, just talking to himself, being all in Planet Stasiak. And Eddie walked in and is like speaking something in Spanish. And then he said, is by any chance, is Planet Stasiak a euphemism for weed? And he was like, Stasiak goes, are you saying that I need to be in some kind of altered state of mind to be on Planet Stasiak? And Eddie's just kind of looking at him, and then Stasiak's like, give me a chance at the IC title. And Eddie's like, okay.
Wow.
So, fighting champ, I guess.
Grade
Before
A
the match even starts, RVD comes out, grabs a chair, and sits down, and he's going to watch the match ringside, which is nice. Guerrero beats Stasiak in like a minute. Frog splash, all that stuff. RVD and Guerrero brawl. RVD throws Eddie to the outside of the ring, goes up the ramp, does all his like, I'm Rob Van Dam stuff. And then Eddie gets on the microphone, starts yelling at RVD in what I can only describe as a horrible promo. He was like slurring his words, and he was like, at one point, this was the exact line he said. He said, you want to mess with me, RVD? I was like, what the fuck? And then this segment ended by Eddie going, who do you think you are? And RVD doesn't have a microphone. He's at the top of the stage, and he just goes, I'm Rob Van Dam. And that was the end of the segment. And I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, they're fighting at Judgment Day.
At least they'll have a good match. As long as just keep the promos away.
Mm-hmm. We go backstage, and the coach is knocking on Stone Cold Steve Austin's locker room door to get comments about Ric Flair's actions last week. But Deborah's there. I don't know when this is in the timeline, but I'm assuming that Deborah wouldn't be around for too much longer. But
no.
Anyway, Deborah's there, and she's like, I'll get Stone Cold for you, because he does have a lot to say about what happened with Ric Flair. So we come back from the break, and Coach is there with Stone Cold, asking them about all that, and it's just the standard Stone Cold backstage segment. Lots of whats, lots of that kind of stuff. Honestly, just leaving us with more questions than answers. Pretty much. Okay, so this is probably my favorite probably my second favorite segment of the entire night. There is a video package. It's a special. A day in the life of Tommy Dreamer. So they're following around Tommy Dreamer in this segment. It's like a vignette kind of deal. It starts off with Tommy Dreamer brushing his dog's teeth. And then brushing his own teeth with the same toothbrush. And then it shows him spraying deodorant on his tongue. Then he puts shaving cream and starts shaving his tongue. Then it shows Tommy Dreamer drinking toilet water. And I don't know why.
Oh, is this when he was going through his he eats puke and all that stuff?
I
that
don't know,
gimmick
but
that somehow existed.
I don't recall. This must be the first one, because I don't recall one that's been on Raw before. I could be wrong, but I feel like I would have noticed.
Tommy, you haven't done anything for weeks, mate, but this week you're drinking toilet water. You go for it, boy.
He was standing in the fountain, having a piss. And there was some dudes next to him, and he's like, have you ever drank the fountain water, the urinal water? The little, the little urinal, not the big, long trophy urinal, the little singular ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they're called. Whatever they are. And then he got a cup, and then, after the dude was done peeing, he just put his cup there and drank it. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And he was like, it's colder than regular water. That's what he said. I was like, do you, Dreamer? But yeah, it was the most bizarre thing, and I was in love with it. Because it's just pure silly. Speaking of things that don't really make sense, William Regal is here to do a commentary with JR and King for this next match. Terry Runnels versus Molly Holly.
That's an exciting bout.
Well, after last week, they have a lot of bad blood. If you remember last week, Molly Holly dressed in that swimsuit and then attacked Terry with the flippers. So a lot of heat going into this one. For some reason, William Regal's there. There's obviously, with Terry Runnels involved, this isn't going to be a wrestling masterpiece because she's not really I don't recall Terry Runnels really ever wrestling, to be completely honest with you. I don't know about what you remember about Terry, but she was always a manager or a backstage interviewer. But she's wrestling in what I can only what Jim Ross can only describe as Victoria's Secret attire, Molly Holly in her standard attire. Now, they talk about the fact William Regal is in love with Molly Holly because she's quite the grappler, in his words. And she doesn't have to expose her, in his words, bosoms to get the fans to cheer her. And they're talking about how she's a virgin, all the standard stuff. And Jim Ross comes out with quite the line. He said, Molly Holly is a virgin, but Terry Runnels sure isn't. And I was like, whoa. But Terry Runnels hits a top rope Hurricane Rana in this match.
Oh.
That was the only memorable spot. Molly Holly wins with a small package. And then throws Terry out of the ring, get out of here. William Regal enters the ring, offers to escort Molly away from the ring, again mentioning the fact that she doesn't have to show her bosoms to get these people in Canada, these stinking fans in Canada to like her. He grabs her and they walk away together. Quite the dream team there. I would not be mad at Molly Holly and William Regal. You love William Regal. He's a fellow Brit. I mean, I love Molly Holly, and they are quite the grapplers. Team wrestling, I wouldn't be mad. But yeah, he escorts her away. I was like, cool. Molly went over. William Regal said bosoms. I was happy. I was not mad at that segment. Now, here we go. Undisputed Championship match happening in the middle of the show. Hulk Hogan defending against Ric Flair.
Tell me all about that. I'm really looking forward to it.
As you can imagine, these two 85-year-old men going at it was just what I wanted to see. And it was fine for what it was. There was a lot of brother hulking up and a lot of woo humping. That kind of stuff that you'd expect from Flair and Hogan. The crowd was so alive for this match, though. Holy shit. They were loud. Like, loud. But the finish is what we need to talk about here. It's X-Pac running in, attacks Hogan. Big Show comes in and helps X-Pac. At some reason, Jim Ross just randomly shouted, "Oh yeah, this is a no disqualification match." I don't recall him ever announcing it, but I'm like, okay. So anyway, NWO are in there helping Flair. Bradshaw, of course, runs in and chases away X-Pac and Big Show. Stone Cold runs in and gives Flair a stunner, and Hogan hits the leg drop and pins Flair. Standard fucking shit. With the NWO. It's just NWO everywhere. And it's not even like, it's like the two lesser members of the NWO. It's the Big Show and X-Pac. Like, I don't care about them. But we go backstage for more NWO. Because Flair's pissed about being screwed out of his 17th world title. So tonight, he said in a preview of Judgment Day, we're going to get a handicap match. It's going to be Big Show and X-Pac taking on Bradshaw.
What's he done? What's Bradshaw ever done to deserve that?
I don't know. Been there. Flair sets up a lumberjack match with Austin versus the new member of the NWO. Again, he states who still does not know he's in the NWO. So yeah, that's going to be our main event tonight, a lumberjack match. And he's going to he's going to personally handpick the lumberjacks.
Oh, naturally.
So then we have a women's championship and hardcore championship match, mixed tag match. So if Trish was to pin Jazz, she's the women's champion. But if Bubba is to pin Steven Richards, he's the hardcore champion. It doesn't work for like both ways. So it's not one person gets both, you know what I mean? Like they get them for their team. It's whoever gets the pinfall. So Trish is Canadian. So of course she's mega over as she normally is anyway, but they love her. She's from Toronto. She's a Toronto girl. She's ready to win the women's championship. You know, they're all ready to see it. So they come out first, Bubba and Trish, and then Jazz and Steven Richards come out. And to start the match, Bubba gets Trish up on like the, what's it called? Gorilla press? Fucking military slam thingo, you know. above the
Military
head.
press,
Then
yeah.
throws her out of the ring under Jazz and Steven Richards. And they go and get weapons because no matter, this is a mixed tag match, which means, of course, men fight the men, women fight the women, but also it's a hardcore match. So get fucked, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I don't really criticize Trish Stratus too much because I love Trish Stratus, but man, does she have a hard time getting the trash can in the ring. Oh boy, she was getting it and throwing it and just kept bouncing against the ropes and falling out, and she kept trying. I'm like, just Trish, just put it down. So she just brought in the trash can lid. She didn't need the trash can. I was like, oh damn. But she gets a stop sign as well, places it over Steven Richards' groin. And then, of course, in true Canadian fashion, what do you think that Bubba Ray hit that stop sign on the groin with? What's the most Canadian thing in the world?
A hockey stick.
A hockey stick. He got a hockey stick, and Canada was like, fuck yeah, hockey. And he hit him in the dick. He was like, oh shit. And then, of course, Hardcore Championship 24/7 rules. Guess who runs in? Just Incredible. He runs down with his own referee, but instead, he pushes Bubba out, attacks Steven Richards, but then before he can get the pin on Steven Richards, Crash Holly comes out and attacks Just Incredible. There's been no pinfall, so no title changes yet. Then Bubba throws... Then Bubba comes in and hits Crash, and then disposes of Crash, and then hits Just Incredible with a guitar. So then he's disposed of. So he wants this for himself, of course. There's fire extinguishers. There's all this kind of shit going on, you know. All the kind of shit that you would expect. Trish at one point gets knocked down off the apron. Canada boos, by the way. Canada boos. She got knocked off by somebody. I couldn't honestly tell you who it was in because there's so many people going in and out of the ring at this point. But Jazz ends up getting tagged in and Trish crawls back into the ring, you know, like the true underdog here. You know, Jazz has beaten the tar out of her, like, get absolutely wrecked, Trish, you Canadian bitch. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in true Trish Stratus faction, get it? True Trish Stratus fashion, she hits the Stratus faction for the win. We got a new women's champ. Canada went nuts. Trish won the title.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet because Jazz is in the ring, you know, down and out. Steven Richards is somewhere having a nap. And Trish grabs the microphone, holds up the women's title, and pushes Bubba Ray and says, Bubba, get the tables. So Bubba gets the tables, sets her up. Trish grabs Jazz, powerbomb off the top. Jazz through the table by Bubba.
Nice.
Everyone's cheering. We got a Canadian women's champion. Toronto's happy. Good little segment. Good little match.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. And now we got a new women's champ. And I love Trish Stratus. Not as much as I love Molly Holly, but we'll get there. Okay. Coach is with The Undertaker. He talks to The Undertaker about Hulk Hogan destroying his bike last week in what was one of the most amazing segments I've ever seen. I hope people went back and just found that because...
I did.
Oh, wasn't it just a joy, Dits?
It was... It was...
He really struggled.
It tickled me.
And the crowd were laughing, and they were trying their best, but... Anyway, before Taker even answers, he just looks at Coach and is like, I'm not answering this, and just walks off. He just walks off.
Yeah.
We go backstage again to what your favorite thing about Raw is, Goldust and Booker T.
Yeah.
All right, so Goldust is standing there, and you can't see Booker T on the other side. He's talking, he's like, we've been handpicked to be lumberjacks tonight. I'm so ready for this, Booker. I'm so ready for this. Like, are you ready to be a true lumberjack? And it pans, and Booker T's dressed like a lumberjack. And he's looking at Goldust. He's like, what the hell, man? You told me everyone was going to be dressed like lumberjacks. Why are you not dressed like a lumberjack? And he was like, you know, the Goldust, oh, no, you know, like the, oh. And he was like, oh. And Booker T's like, I look like a damn fool. Like, walked out. But he had like the axe and the plaid. And like, he was full lumberjack in this. And Goldust just had his normal get up on. And he's just like, and then just walked off. And I was like, that was amazing. What an amazing segment. All right, we got a handicap match now. Bradshaw versus X-Pac and Big Show. It's boring. It's fucking boring. Like,
No way.
maybe I'm just disconnected because it's the NWO and Bradshaw, but this was boring. But the good thing about it is that at one point Big Show cheated and hit Bradshaw with a chair, but we don't need to talk about that because who got the pin over Bradshaw? Not Big Show, but X-Pac. You got beat by X-Pac, Bradshaw, so take that, you idiot. You big goober. So yeah, that is a non... Let's get to the Hulk Hogan interview.
Oh, yes.
Everyone knows this segment.
Yes.
Everyone's seen this segment. It's always on Twitter. It's always on the internet. So it's not like it's never here. But, okay. He was gonna... So Hogan basically says he was gonna cruise around Toronto on his bike. Hogan says he decides to stick around and watch Austin's back as a lumberjack because he's going to be a good friend to Austin because he says Austin has always had his back. You know, what a good lad Hulk Hogan is. But who sneaks up on Hogan? The Undertaker and hits him with a tire iron.
Oh, my.
Yeah, knocks him out and Hogan's like, I'm old, I'm racist. And then he hog ties Hogan to his Harley and just drags that son of a bitch around the arena. And Hogan's like, I'm old. And he's like, and he's like, come on, boy. And like revving it up and fucking swinging him around. And I'm just like, bravo. What a segment. I'm just like, yes, sign me up 1,000 times over. I'll just keep on watching that shit. But it went on for a really long time. It was kind of awkward. Because like he would go away and then the camera would be back and he's like, and I'm like, oh, God. But it was still fascinating to watch him just, you know, be in an uncompromising position, to be honest. I was really enjoying that. But yeah, it's main event time. Lumberjack match. Steve Austin versus the newest member of the NWO. So here is the Lumberjacks, by the way, before I reveal the new member of the NWO. You got X-Pac, of course. Big Show, of course. Ric Flair, of course. We got Raven. We got Big Boss Man, Crash Holly, Booker T, Goldust, William Regal, Brock Lesnar, and Eddie Guerrero. So, start off the match, all of the Lumberjacks, of course, attack Austin when he comes to the ring. Like, fuck you, Austin, blah, blah, blah. And then Ric Flair says, you're going to face the newest member of the NWO, Booker T. And Booker T gets in the ring. Looks all surprised, and he fights Austin. This is the Lumberjack deal. You get thrown out, they all attack the babyface. That was essentially what happened here. We had lots of Lumberjacks interfering in the match, and the ref going to call for the disqualification, but Flair's like, no. So there's lots of that. But Austin ends up getting the win because it's Stone Cold. So of course he gets the win, and he escapes all the Lumberjack. He leaves, but Arn Anderson sneaks up behind Austin and knocks him out, or knocks him down, I should say. Then Flair orders Lesnar to take Austin back into the ring. Big Show choke slams him. X-Pac just chokes Austin for some reason. He's just got him in a headlock, really. Flair throws the referee out. They all beat up Austin. Austin's bleeding from the mouth at this point. We get another choke slam, and Flair punches him as Raw goes off the air. So yeah, we're all hyped for that handicap match.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine it's going to be a 5-star classic at Judgment.
I can see why Austin wanted to get the fuck out.
Yeah. It was an okay Raw. I mean, hog-tying Hulk Hogan is always going to be a high point.
Oh, yes.
The Women's Championship Hardcore title match was good. I like Molly Holly and William Regal just because I like Molly Holly and William Regal. And Tommy Dreamer stealing the show. Not mad. Not fucking mad. Canada, you did well. We love hockey. That was basically the gist of the show. We love hockey.
Hockey.
All right, well, cool. That Raw.
Decent Raw.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. It was not a waste of my time, which is always good.
I think I don't know. You tell me what you think. 'Cause obviously, I'm going to talk about SmackDown now, but I don't know. I think you've got the edge there because it was another week where I was kind of like sat there watching and was just like, this is just a show that happened, not a great deal. However, that being said, somebody returns this week, which I'm so happy for. And everybody who listens to this will be happy to know that he is back. Of course, you said it was Canada week, and we are, of course, going from Montreal this week. And annoyingly, as is always the SmackDown way, we don't start with a match. That's
It's
where
so
Raw gets
weird
the upper
how that
hand.
happens. Like Raw, when does Raw ever start with a match in this day and age?
Ah,
Or SmackDown for that matter, but I mean,
yeah,
like,
fair one, yeah.
we always start. Have you noticed? Like, I understand there's always going to be formulas because you probably noticed this watching SmackDowns back then, and I've noticed it with Raw. There is a certain formula they follow, and it's not the same as today's formula. But something that I've noticed with both of our shows, even just not watching SmackDown and listening to you, is that why there is storylines within television now. These are way more consistent. You actually get week-to-week storytelling instead of just going pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Have you noticed that? Things flow a little
That's
better.
true.
I've noticed like the continuity between show and show instead of show to pay-per-view. I've noticed that, but that might be just Raw. I don't know. I've
No, I
noticed
think
it though.
SmackDown's got that going on as well.
Yeah, it's not just so much about hyping the pay-per-views. It's still about it, but like there's more effort put into the actual television product. Like, when do we not have a Raw?
Even
SmackDown?
like the bottom of the card stuff,
Yeah,
as well,
like,
gets a lot of love.
and it's like continuity. Like I've noticed, like with your show, like Tajiri and all that have had continuity with their stories, but they're not necessarily like being hyped up for pay-per-views.
And it could literally just be like a 5-second segment, or
Yeah.
so like this week that it does continue, and it literally lasts for about 30 seconds.
But it like does.
But
what
it's
it
enough that
yeah.
you know exactly. It's enough that you know. Oh, this storyline is still going on,
I think
despite what happened last
they
week.
relied at this stage more on like the top 3 or 4 matches selling the pay-per-views, and everything underneath that wasn't not that it didn't matter, but they could kind of be a little bit more flexible with it. I feel maybe I could be wrong because they probably do that to a certain degree now, but I've just noticed the lack of continuity now and then. Like it's just they're like 2 different products now. I think it's like night and day different with how they actually approach doing television. There's a lot more emphasis on the entertainment side of things on Raw. When Raw really now is a lot more match heavy.
Yeah, I'd say that SmackDown mirrors it as well. It's completely like matches are no more than 4 or 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah,
apart from the main event, which is
never-
about 10 minutes.
Even that, like the biggest matches on Raw, that Lumberjack match went for no longer than 8 or 9 minutes. And that's a main event. You know what I mean? Like all these matches are like most of the matches on Raw that I talked about were like 2 or 3 minutes long. Even the women's title hardcore match, which was great, went for like 5 minutes. But now Raw get like 3 segment matches, and SmackDown even get 2 or 3 segment matches. It's just different. I don't know. I just noticed it.
Yeah, I think it worked though back then because, like, I mean, obviously we have all these different storylines going on. We have a lot more time to like spread out these storylines and have stories be told.
That's true.
You know, and I'm not against like quicker matches on TV.
I'm not either.
And
I
save the good
prefer it.
stuff for the pay-per-view.
I prefer it, to be honest, because I like my television product to be way more segment entertainment based, and my pay-per-views to have none, like little to none of that, and be all matches. That's how I prefer wrestling. But they don't do that anymore. They just have the same formula for every single show. But anyway, go to SmackDown.
Not a match kicking off the show.
Good.
Well, this is a SmackDown tradition in where somebody gets wronged the previous week, and it's their God-given right to come out on the show first the following week. So, of course, Triple H is opening the show this week, and he's talking about Vince because Vince kind of mugged him off last week, saying like, "You think you can put me down? You think you can send 6 guys to the ring to kick my bleep?" Within 5 minutes, we had a bleep, and it was the tamest of bleeps. Kick my ass. Ass is not a swear word.
Ass is not a swear word at all. Ass is like... I could say that to people, customers at work. It doesn't matter. Ass and piss is not swearing.
Yeah. And
they
the word
bleep that.
crap. Crap as well. Crap's a word. And they don't bleep that. Why would you bleep ass and not bleep crap?
Do they beep piss? They would beep piss, right?
I'd imagine they would.
It's not like they're saying fuck. You know what I mean?
I know.
I'll add a bleep in fuck. Beep.
Beep.
That was more like scanning something. That wasn't a beep. We're like at the checkout.
Beep. Beep. So yeah, says regardless of everything that Vince throws at him, he's going nowhere. And then turns his attention to Jericho and says how he's never experienced a Hell in a Cell before. And tonight he can give him a first-hand taste of the pain suffered in that match if he comes down to the ring, which he can consider purgatory. And tonight you can start to burn. Ooh. But not Jericho. It's not Jericho that comes out. It's Edge who comes out. And with a purpose.
May I ask something?
You may.
Edge, at this point, was his music Rob Zombie, like Never Gonna Stop Me? Or was it still...
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
You don't like that theme song, do you?
I'm not a huge fan of it, but it reminds me of... You would know this because you like video games too. Shut Your Mouth. And he had that in Shut Your Mouth. And I just remember always putting him in his purple tights because I like the purple ones for some reason. And I was like, never. And I was like, I always hated that song. I don't know why. Because some people love that Edge theme. And I'm just like, it's not good.
I dig it.
I'm not into it.
I dig that shit. I dig it. But he comes out, he's not hyping up the crowd like he usually does. Now he's coming down with a purpose, bit of a scorned face. Obviously not happy that Triple H clocked him in the face with a sledgehammer as SmackDown went off the air the previous week. And he says to him, well, he says to Triple H, they're supposed to be good guys, and good guys don't have problems with each other. But right now, he doesn't give a crap about any of that. He has a problem with Triple H. And strangely, throughout this whole... every single little bit Edge is saying, he's getting what chance in Canada.
Oh yeah, Edge is Canadian.
And Triple H is like getting cheers and stuff like that, and then Edge comes out and he's getting like minor boos and what chance. I was like,
is
why?
It piped? Would they pipe that in? Would they be editing that in?
I actually don't think there was
any.
There wasn't any other what chance throughout the entire show.
That's
apart
weird.
From that opening segment.
Maybe it's the Rob Zombie theme.
Yeah. It threw me off, to be honest. 'Cause I was like, why are you doing that?
Canadians love Canadians. The
know.
only things that Canadian hates is Shawn Michaels. They hate Shawn Michaels. Especially in Montreal.
And then Edge says that he feels like he's been playing the game all week. I don't know why he said that. Triple H says he's a lot of things, but one thing he is not is a good guy. And if you want to go, let's go. And they start fighting, but literally before at least 3 punches could be thrown, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho are straight down to the ring, attacking everybody. And eventually, Triple H is on the outside of the ring. Jericho's holding Edge in the ring. Angle comes in with some scissors.
Oh, here we go.
And snips off a bit of Edge's hair before getting run off by Triple H, who is swinging chairs.
Get wrecked,
Angle takes a little prize away from this segment.
A lock of his hair.
And, here we go. We move backstage to Vince's office.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Guess who's back? Back again. Creepy Vince. It's back again. So he's...
Don't say it.
Oh, well, what was revealed at the very, very start of the show, there was going to be a swimsuit competition between Tori Wilson.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say Vince is in it. I was like, oh, Jesus.
It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. And Stacy.
Wait a minute. A swimsuit competition. Someone's stealing ideas from Raw.
Nah.
Fucking recycled material from Raw.
Never. Never.
that, people. When you go to vote this week, look what show is stealing from the other. 2 weeks ago that happened.
Yeah, we flipped the switch on it though. It doesn't turn out how you think it would turn out. And actually it results in one of the strangest segments I've ever seen in professional wrestling ever. But we will get to that. Yeah, so Vince is there checking out Stacy in her black gown. And Vince says, I know you're going to beat Tori tonight, but do you mind if I have a little bit of a sneak peek? And obviously Stacy pulls her gown away, and there we don't see it, but Vince definitely does, because he's got his cum face going on times 1,000, and noises to accompany it as well. It's not just a face; he's got audible this time. And he's like, "You're gonna wear that little thing out there?" And he's like, "These are actual quotes, or this is an actual quote. What if I were to give those pups a little nuzzle for luck?"
Oh, yuck! Move on to the next segment. Ew, he's so old.
And he goes in.
Oh no, he does not.
I presume he's going into motorboat those puppies. However, before he can do the deed, Jericho and Angle bust in to the office and bragging about their attack. Vince says he didn't see it. I assume he's been masturbating over Stacy all afternoon. Says, why don't we have some fun tonight? Let's set up a tag team match between Kurt Angle and Jericho against Triple H and Edge. It'll be great. They're going to likely win because Triple H and Edge still aren't on the same page. Away you go. And then it kind of insinuates that something was about to happen in Vince's office, but it wasn't as bad as the last time it happened when they were putting clothes on and all that horrible stuff.
I never thought this would come out of my mouth, but I really wish that was Randy Orton, because it wouldn't be as near as creepy. It would just be like a little okay, just going bone. Just, oh my God. Vince McMahon.
It's grade A content. Grade A content. It's what gets me through every episode of SmackDown every single week. What's creepy Vince doing this week?
I was like, where are you going with that sentence? I was like, oh boy. Next segment.
Pass. So we get into the first match of the show. It's Lance Storm and Hardcore Holly against Orton and Big Val Bellend. And against the trend, which I always find, it always catches me off guard when the heels are top left.
Oh my God!
And the baby faces are bottom
Same.
right. It
That's
completely
right.
throws me off.
No, get in the
that
right
happened
spots.
in here. There was standard back and forth in the match. It was just a standard TV match for this period. Val Venus or Val Bowski or Knob Chucks, whatever you want to call him these days. Him and Holly are fighting outside. Lance hits a super kick on Orton in the ring, and he kind of falls on him for the pin. And the ref counts to 2, but then Orton. I had to actually rewatch this about 4 times because I was like, that doesn't look right. He gets the 2 count, but then Orton gets out of the pin and puts Lance in his own kind of I think it's an inside cradle. I don't know what the name of the fucking pin is, but he gets him in a pin.
A crucifix pin?
I could be.
Is that the one with the arm and the leg?
Yeah, it's lock the arms in.
Yeah. It's
over him. Yeah. And the referee just straight away 1, 2, 3. So it was literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was just one fluid motion. I was like, I don't understand what just happened there. Did Lance Storm win? He's counted an extra 2 for no reason.
Wait, so Orton went over?
Orton won.
Okay.
But it was the fact that Lance Storm hadn't kicked out or anything, and Orton hadn't actually put the pin fully on Lance yet. But the referee was still counted to 3 at that point, but then did the extra 2, and I was like, huh? But right. Orton won. That's how it came about. Orton and Big Val Bowski got a win there, which Orton, I'm glad. Val, not so much. Shockingly, we go backstage again. And this time we see Tori walking backstage with her pink gown on. And Maven comes out of the locker room, intercepts her, and wishes Maven of all people, and wishes her good luck in the swimsuit competition. Says he saw what happened with Tajiri last week, and says, do you want to go out for some food after the show, maybe some drinks? And Tori's up for it.
He's shooting his shot.
Succeeds, because Tori does say yes, and she heads off to get ready to strip. And whilst Maven's giving her the googly eyes walking away, Devon and Batista
Oh,
walk around the
testify,
corner.
my brother.
And said he said, God knows what is going through Maven's head. It's likely all sinful and lustful thoughts. Calls Tori a Jezebel, and Maven gets in his face about he's not happy. He's not happy with that fucking insult. But then Batista obviously squares up, and Maven backs down. But in comes Big Daddy Al Snow to save the day. And it was like, oh, what's going on here? And then Devon says, well, Maven, you will get your salvation in our match tonight. Dum, dum, dum.
Could you say that Maven will be tough enough?
You did it. You went there.
Do you get it? Because he won tough enough.
Did he?
Mm.
Oh. That's weird. Didn't get that. Didn't get that, Josh.
Just had to make sure that everyone understood.
So we remain backstage, and this time we go to a locker room that is Funaki.
Oh, hell yeah. The #1 ring announcer on SmackDown. Let's go, Funaki. Well, not at this point, but, you know.
Yeah. He gets better. I'm saying that. He was probably actually quite funny at this point as well.
He was so good.
Gregory Helms comes in his reporter type gear, and says, Hurricane has been receiving evil notes from an evil man, and you just so happen to be wearing an evil t-shirt, that whole evil, shit.
Yeah.
And then Funaki has literally no idea what is going on. He's just like, yeah, whatever. And he turns around and reveals a note stuck to the back of Funaki. And it doesn't say kick me. It is another note. It is a horror note.
Oh, no.
And Gregory Helms takes it, has a read, and it says, congrats on your title shot tonight, but take heed if you win, because your pain will truly begin.
A riddle. We love a good riddle on SmackDown, apparently.
Oh, dum dum dum. Who is it? We remain backstage and go to a Jericho interview. He talks about how everybody thinks the Big Bad Game is going to beat him, but says he's the guy that put Triple H out for 8 months when he put him in the Walls of Jericho on the announce table ages ago. That's not true. Yeah. True. So he holds that. And then says Triple H will face the real Chris Jericho at Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah, they got Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Which you don't recall seeing.
I don't. So this is going to be nice and fresh to me, so I'm looking forward to it.
I recall seeing it.
Then we go with Devon versus Maven. And now usually I would bust out the karaoke Josh right now, but I actually have only just realized he doesn't have that theme song yet. It's all organs.
Oh, fuck. Ah, fuck.
So,
like Liv Morgan, in the chamber. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. It's just going to be me now. Every time that anything goes wrong, it's going to, fuck.
There's a pre-match promo, and Devon says before he does his sermon, Batista will go into the crowd, and you will donate. Ooh. And then out comes Maven, and the match begins. So the ref, have you noticed how quick the ref counts?
Absolutely.
Like were back then.
It was like 1, 2, 3, and you're like, okay, fuck.
It's no wonder people are getting beat by fucking clotheslines and crossbodies and drop kicks. Like
clothesline is a trigger. Don't say clothesline because that just makes you think of that big goober. We don't need to talk about him on SmackDown. He's for Raw.
It's just bizarre. Like it's kind of like the speed that the refs would count.
Yeah,
in 2002 WWE is how a heel special guest referee would count now.
No actual fucking kidding. It's literally like that.
I don't get it, but
it takes away
that's what it is.
I guess we're just wired to watching wrestling in current time, but to me it takes away like the falsy. Like it takes it away. It's like, well, it's done.
And the only way you get the slow count is when you get the referee inevitably bumped,
because that happens in every match.
Because they're so hurt and they can't do it any quicker.
Like,
1, 2, kick out! Oh my god!
Back.
But yeah, so Maven's in control for the majority of the match. But Batista gets up on the apron, which allows Devon, because obviously the referee's distracted, allows Devon to low blow, hit his finisher, don't know the name of that finisher, and picks up the win.
What was his finish?
It's kind of like,
He didn't have the, no, that's Bubba that had like the full Nelson bomb.
he kind of,
He didn't have a cutter or a DDT or some shit, reverse DDT, some bullshit like that, some boring.
I don't even know if it was his finisher. I think it was probably like a signature, but I'd have to watch it again. It was like, it wasn't memorable.
Okay, good to know.
Attacks Maven straight after the bell, despite the fact he knows Al Snow is literally a couple of feet away from him. Of course, Al Snow comes in to protect, but then gets clocked by Batista in the grid with his donation box.
Oh no.
Chapow. Here we go. Right, so we go backstage again. And genuinely, this is the most bizarre segment I've ever seen. Like, I do not know why it happened. I just don't understand. So Stacy's backstage in her little locker room, and she goes to check herself out in the mirror, and for some reason, a little person, I don't know what the PC way of calling them is, dwarf, midget, I don't know. They bust out of the cupboard. I don't know why. He busts out the cupboard with a camera. And he's like, you're one of my favorite people in WWE. It's like, what? And he's like, I'm gonna film the whole competition on my Panasonic camera. So there's a plug. He says, I break a leg tonight, and he says, I'll be waiting for you when she wins, and comes back to the locker room. And all while this is going on, there's a few more thrown in there, and then he goes, and then he like kind of like goes backwards into the cupboard, like slinks away into the darkness kind of thing, and as he's like closing the fucking door, he's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand what just happened.
I'm not gonna lie, I will never say this again, but you deserve to win for this segment. That sounds amazing. He said WWE.
WWE.
I hate it so much. It's the best thing I've ever heard.
Like, please go back and see. I
fucking hate and love wrestling. I hate it. It's the worst shit ever, but it's amazing. It sounds incredible. I'm crying.
I said it was bizarre. Like, I honestly just don't.
That? Like, I'm actually like not even like doubting your way of explaining. That's exactly how it happened.
Strange. And he never appeared again for the rest of the show either, by the way.
Why did that happen?
I have a feeling this is going to happen a lot whilst we do this show.
It was very crying, laughing. I just can't speak.
Yeah, very strange. Very, very strange. And then we actually go to the swimsuit competition itself. They both come out to the ring. There's some like porny music playing. And Taz says, Tori, you get to go first. So he's like she's stripping down, almost reveals everything, but then Tajiri races into the ring and covers her up with like some black coat kind of thing, and then drags her backstage. So we don't get to see Tori. And then Stacy says the competition just left the ring, so that means that she's the winner. So then Taz says, well, if you're the winner, then at least the winner needs to show us what they got. And then Stacy's like, you wish, saving it all for the little man backstage with his Panasonic camera. And strangely, because I completely forgot this was the rule, Trish Stratus appears on SmackDown.
Champ and Canada.
Yeah.
You get your hands off my Trish Stratus. Get your dirty little mitts off of Trish.
Well, we see a lot of Trish in this little bit here. So she comes down to the ring. Is like, these people came here for a competition. And she's like, well, I forgot my bikini, but I've got this. And then she like kind of pulls a coat away, and she's like there in like this like pink bra and panties kind of thing. And then Stacy goes to hit her with her shoe. But Trish throws her out of the ring. and then is declared the winner. And of course, she does like a little dance for everybody
And
to
she's
enjoy.
like, Canada.
Michael Cole in particular dug that segment. He was enjoying that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't process that segment because I'm still processing the one before. Sounds rad.
When this obviously the episode goes out and you do like the little promo graphic for it, I honestly go and find that set. It's about halfway through the show.
I absolutely will.
Fine. You know, like when they've started like through the new WWE Network layout, they've like bookmarked every little episode so you can know, like, you can just like jump back in. I'm very curious to know if that little bit has been bookmarked and what the description would be.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
But go find it and get that picture.
I will.
And maybe a soundbite. That'd be great. Then we go backstage with Vince, Devon, and Batista. Vince is congratulating Devon about all his recent success, and then he just randomly turns to Batista and says, "You're very impressive," and that's it. It's just a one-liner. He's like, "You're very impressive." That's it. And then Stacey comes in, all pissed off, and Vince says he doesn't know how to, but he's going to make it up to her. And then Stacey's like, "Oh, I know how you can make it up to me. Give me a championship match against Trish at Judgment Day." And Vince says he can do that. He says as long as he lets her employ the services of the Reverend Devon Protection Fund. And he kind of turns to Devon and is like, "You will provide protection, won't you?" And then Devon goes, "You want a Reverend to go out and buy condoms?" That's where we are. That's where we are with this. And then Vince says, "No, it's all about Trish having Bubba in her corner. So counter it with her half-brother Devon." Dum, dum, dum. So the Dudleys are reunited at Judgment Day. Exciting stuff.
Wait, we're going to get Trish Stratus versus Stacy Keibler?
At Judgment Day with Dudleys in the corner.
Oh, man. No offense, Stacy. I really, honestly do like Stacy Keibler, but that girl cannot wrestle.
Well, we get to enjoy that.
And Trish at this point wasn't like quite there yet. She was nearly there in the ring and she was getting a lot better, but she wasn't quite there.
Oh, it's going to be a car crash.
I'm here for it. It's probably going to be my favorite match of the show. Let's be honest.
Maybe we'll get Creepy Vince. I hope.
He's
then you
made
can
out.
experience
He's made out with Trish before, so.
Ugh. So we actually get some. We actually get some in-ring segment here. So we get Rico versus Rikishi, a follow-up to their little mini feud they've got going on. Rikishi starts well, as you'd expect, but Billy and Chuck. How the karaoke Josh?
I don't know if I can today, dude. After that, I'm still kind of crying. Karaoke Josh will return next week. Or the week after.
Boo.
Not happening this week. I've given you all the free balls. I told people to just go vote for you. I'm not giving them my luscious sounds.
You did. That is true. So Ricky, I need to find that segment and put it on Twitter just to see what people's reaction. This is fucking insane.
Talking about it again.
So Rikishi starts the match well, but Billy and Chuck get involved as you'd expect and swing the tide of the battle. Rikishi gets back into it, throws Rico into the corner, and as he goes for that little fucking arse jump into the fucking corner type thing that he does, Rico pulls the ref in front of him, distracts the ref, and then Billy and Chuck run in to attack Rikishi. And this is another thing. This is, I mean, just a general like complaint that we all have. It's all about taking away the belief and all that stuff when it comes to wrestling. But how the referee does not hear any of this commotion going on behind him. I'm talking leg slaps, fucking the ring literally shaking as if it's not like Rikishi's there jumping up and down doing fucking star jumps. Like he's getting attacked. Like it's bizarre. I guess you just have to forget about that stuff. But anyway, Billy drop kicks Chuck when Rikishi dodges out of the way, and then Rikishi throws them both out of the ring. But Rico hits that devastating spinning heel kick, which has ended a lot of matches over the last month. But only gets a 2 count this time against Rikishi. Only gets a 2 count.
Protect
I know.
The finish.
Protect the finish. Then Rico goes for a sunset flip, but gets Banzai dropped for a 3 count. Booyah.
Sing along
Rikishi
with
wins.
3 count. 1, 2, 3. Hey, there you go. You got some singing this week for 3 count. I mean, different group, same lovable approach.
That was something. And then randomly Rikishi's up on the stage and he's doing a dance. He even gets pyro. Very weird. I don't know why that happened, but there you go. That happened. It was like Goldberg pyro.
Ugh.
Strange. And then we go back to Vince's office again. And Creepy Vince is back. Indeed, he is. He's running his finger down Stacy's leg in a seductive way that only Vince can do. And he's like, there's no doubt who should have won that competition. And he goes to tongue her, but then Billy, Chuck, and Rico bust in, complaining about the loss. And then Vince says that you're the damn tag team champions. You should be ashamed of yourselves. He says, like, Judgment Day, it's going to be Billy and Chuck defending the titles against Rikishi and a partner of Vince's choosing. Now get the hell out of my office. That's how that segment went.
Hey, that means that Billy and Chuck karaoke by Josh is going to be at Judgment Day. There you go.
That's true. So if there's anything to look forward to in the review episode next week, it's that.
And Stacy and Trish, because I'll have a ball with that one. I'll have a ball.
A Triple H interview. He says Jericho needs to understand that he's going to be all alone in that cell, and says nobody's going to be able to come in and help him. But in comes Edge, and he's like, "We still have a problem." Triple H says he admires the guts and bravado, but he says, "Go and win some world titles before you step to the game."
Boom.
But then Edge counters that by saying he could take the Triple H way to the top and marry the boss's daughter and sleep his way to world championships.
Here we go.
And that's the end of that segment. Triple H kind of just palms that off and he's just like, look, we have more important things to deal with at the moment.
He's like, yeah, true.
Touche. We have a cruiserweight title match. Tajiri defending against Hurricane and Billy Kidman. Another case of random people getting title opportunities because why not? So Tajiri and Kidman start beating the crap out of each other before Hurricane has even done his entrance. And then it's a very, very short match. Not a great deal happens. Kidman completely misses a shooting star press. He kind of lands on his knees, not anywhere near Tajiri. It didn't look great. Hurricane pulls him out of the ring, gets himself in the ring, hits a chokeslam on Tajiri, new cruiserweight champion, the Hurricane. Bum bum bum. So so this kind of feeds into what we were saying about the guys lower down getting storyline stuff. So he's got all these notes backstage, all these riddles, and now he's also cruiserweight champion. So good on him. Now, the bit that I never look forward to is Hulk Hogan comes out to the ring limping.
I was waiting
following
for him.
His dragging through the arena.
Did you get to see that on the recap?
I
Raw
did.
Rebound, as they would call it back in the Dizzy, the Raw Rebound.
But what I noticed when it kind of ended was it was like empty cardboard boxes falling on him. It wasn't the pipes; it was empty cardboard boxes that landed on him.
I'll take it.
But he was selling that shit. He was limping his way down to the ring. He was struggling. And the crowd annoyingly went absolutely berserk for him. And Hogan was there getting really overwhelmed. He was crying. And this thing went on for about 5 minutes before he even cut any part of his promo. And it was come the fuck on. I was like, he's going to start now. And then no, he started crying. I was like, all right, he's going to start now. And now he started crying again. It's just get on with it. And he eventually starts talking. He's like, he only had one goal when he came back to WWF, as it was. And that was to get to WrestleMania. But he says, because of all these crazy maniacs, he can't go home now. And then there was another 30 seconds of fucking Hogan love. And then Hulk Hogan says, I thank you to everybody and hopes the dream never ends. He says it's not a case of hoping anymore. He knows Hulkamania will live forever. Blah, blah,
I mean,
blah.
I don't think it's going to take losing a title for Hulkamania to get some hate, but we won't go there.
Yeah. And then out comes Vince McMahon.
Oh no.
He's looking pretty pissed off, as if like Hulk Hogan pissed on Stacy or something like that. Gets in Hogan's face, and then we get the "You screwed Brett" chants, as would be expected in this country.
In that town.
Says in that he's like he says in his opinion Hulkamania sucks, which I agree with.
Relatable, absolutely relatable, Vince.
Says he loved seeing Taker dragging Hogan behind his own bike, like he was a bag of roadkill.
Again, relatable.
Yeah,
I relate
and Vince
to
says
this
that
man.
one time Hulk Hogan was an icon and the immortal Hulk Hogan, but no more. All he sees is an empty shell of what he used to be. Hulkamania is a disease. It has a terminal illness. Hulkamania has cancer.
Oh hell.
Oh, God. And then says Taker will bury Hulkamania at Judgment Day. Vince says that he is Dr. Frankenstein and that he created Hulkamania and therefore he can take it away. Slaps Hogan in the face. Again, wonderful stuff.
I'm loving
Absolute
this.
joy. But Hulk then attacks Vince, hits his leg drop, and then all of a sudden no longer sells the horrendous injuries suffered on Raw. He's fine doing all his like arms, fucking yeah, fuck off. And then that closes down the segment. And then we go to the main event. Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho versus Edge, Triple H. Edge doesn't wait for Triple H to get down to the ring and attacks both of them straight away, but of course that doesn't end well for him. It's a decent match, more or less. Again, just standard TV fare that all builds towards that Triple H hot tag. And this is something I've noticed as well. Like, we always seem to get in tag team main events.
Absolutely, we
on
do.
SmackDown.
We do on
Like,
Raw too. Well, for the most part.
Can we just have a singles match, please? I was saying that. Did I have a singles match last week?
I just had a singles match, so I can't relate. But
oh no, it was a tag match last week as well. Shocker. Yeah, and then it kind of turns into like a free-for-all. So Edge counters an angle slam and then hits a bulldog on Kurt. Jericho misses with a chair and then eats a spear from Edge. Then Angle hits the angle slam on Edge. Then Triple H pedigrees Kurt. But then Jericho breaks up the pin. Then there's a brawl outside between Triple H and Chris Jericho that causes a ref bump.
Oh, shocking.
Dreaded ref bump. And then they disappear. They go through the crowd. They head backstage. Then Edge goes for a spear in the ring, but Angle clocks him with the chair before the referee gets in, hits the angle slam, picks up the win, and then he pulls Edge's hair out of his tights and kind of dangles it over Edge to close the show.
This hair was just on my sweaty balls.
That wouldn't smell nice, to be fair. Sweaty hair to begin with, and then
ball sweat.
Trunk juice. Blech.
No. So wait,
not a bad
So
SmackDown.
Triple H and Jericho just disappeared?
They vanished. We never saw them again.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that sounds like a good time. I'm not mad at
It was
that
okay.
SmackDown.
It was okay.
We got Judgment Day next week to look forward to for everybody, and Judgment Day seems pretty stacked. SmackDown side of things is stacked. The Raw side of things is stacked. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to next week. A nice little Judgment Day review.
I like these pay-per-views that we get to review them.
Yeah,
it's nice.
and
it's a good little break. It like breaks things up a little bit. It's nice.
yeah, and not only that is that this pay-per-view actually seems like it's going to be good. Because Backlash was
I hope
whatever.
so.
We've got I know for Raw side of things, we've got like Eddie and RVD again, which should be fun. We've got the handicap match, which is fine. Austin's in it. I'm sure it'll be fun. Hogan and Taker. Trish and Stacy.
Classic.
What else have we got on there? I know
Hell in a Cell.
You got the Hell in a Cell. We got Edge and
Edge Angle, yeah.
Edge Angle, hair versus hair. You got that tag team title classic.
Oh yeah. I think that's it. I might be wrong.
I'm sure there's more, but should be fine. Should be fun. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it more than I was Backlash, especially.
Yeah, me too. I'm keen for it all. So that'll be next week here on Dits versus Josh. What else do you got to add, Dits, before we wrap it up?
Well, it is my birthday today, not my actual birthday, my show's birthday today, which
is your birthday today. How old are you? 47?
I'm not mad.
You're older than me, so you're old.
Like 4 years. 4 years. In fact, actually, obviously, this drops on a Monday. So actually, it was yesterday that was the 1 year anniversary of the show. So we had quite an epic show. This week we did a tag team draft that special. So it was Anton, myself versus the guys over at Headlock Talk, Stephen and Tanner. And it was a good time. We had a great time. So go and listen to that because it's good. And then 2 days before that, we dropped a little bonus content out there. And we had a chat with the owner of WrestleCrate UK subscription service, loads of wrestling goodies, collectibles, all that stuff. And that was a really good chat. Like, really, really enjoyed that. And that's actually one of my favorite episodes that I've done throughout the whole year of the show. So if you haven't listened to it, go and check it out because it's good.
Yeah, go and check out all of Dits' stuff. It's always good.
And find me on Twitter at Dits on Wrestling. Boom. There you go. Plug's done.
Yeah, go and follow Dits. You know where to find my stuff at this point. You're literally listening on the network anyway. So you can find all the shows that I do. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. Josh Robinson 00. That's where you'll find pretty much everything. And if I'm going to plug anything this week, it ain't my TikTok. Don't worry. It's my Twitch. Go and follow me on Twitch. I'm doing a lot more of that stuff. I got like my first subscriber to my Twitch channel last night. I was like, what the hell? I made $8. I was like, what the hell is this? But that's pretty cool. I've been playing some Until Dawn and stuff like that. So come watch me shit my pants. Because I do. Because I'm a scared little bitch all the time. I just don't do well with anything scary. So, yeah, watch me have a heart attack. Watch me cry for your enjoyment. Basically.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
If you want to see me in pain, watch my Twitch. And I'm also awful at video games. I'm not great at them. I love them, but I'm not great at them. Unless they're wrestling games, I'm not great at video games. I've really, really realized that in the last year or so. So I'm pretty trash at anything that isn't a wrestling game or GTA. I'm just not good at them. But I love them, and I'll happily play them. So if you're into that kind of shit, go there. Other than that, I guess that'll be all for this week. Make sure you vote in the pinned tweet that will be on the Dits vs. Josh account on Twitter. That's just Dits at Dits vs. Josh. And you'll be able to vote away for your preferred winner.
Hell yeah.
And then we got Judgment Day next week, so there'll be no voting next week per se, but we will get a nice Judgment Day review. And yeah, it still tackles the same way. If you haven't, how we do kind of pay-per-view reviews is that I still tackle Raw, Dits tackles SmackDown. We just do it together, basically. Yeah. And we get to watch the whole show, which is nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to relive like a little bit of Raw, like have a little sneak peek, have a little
I'm the same with
flavor
SmackDown.
of it.
I get to see stuff from SmackDown that I don't normally see. Because we don't, well, not as a rule, we just kind of done this subconsciously, I think. We don't go back and, other than little clips here and there, I don't watch the episodes of SmackDown. I just rely on you to tell me what's going on. Yeah, I don't watch Raw. Yeah, I don't watch SmackDown. So, and it's better that way because I form no opinion. I just have to listen to what you tell me. But I will go back and watch that little person segment. I'm trying to say that in the most nice way. WWE.
WWE.
That's so bad, isn't it? I love it so much because it's just trash. I love trashy television. It's just great. All right, well, that'll take us home this week. Until next Monday, we will see you on the next Dits vs. Josh.